Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. Strangle your demons and let's go.
Y'all need Jesus!
Chosen, I'm the one. I have come to save the day. Welcome to the Comfortable in Chaos Podcast. I am your host, Eric Hellberg, on this Easter Sunday, men. And you know, we're like Einstein over here. We have no special talents. Don't hold to them if you actually do. Realize that you're just passionately curious about all things pertaining to men. How in the hell did we get here, and where is it that we want to go? And you should be curious of your own effing self if you realize that stone rolled away from the tomb. Christ rose and he walked out of there. But yet, you haven't pushed anything away in your own life so that you can truly be accepted in the brotherhood, meaning the kingdom of Christ. Now we know he is a forgiving God, but he is a just God. And we have to look at ourselves. Are you truly willing to push the stones in your life away so you can rise and reach what it is that the Lord actually has for you? Because he has something great for you if you will simply tap into it. So is Lenny Kravitz like Christ? In those first 3 lines, absolutely. Other than that, F no, unless he's had an epiphany. We know he had one in the Hunger Games, right? He eventually laid down his whole life to help others, and he rebelled against the system. Are you willing to rebel against the system? Are you willing to face the scorn, to be unfriended, the ridicule, maybe even to be spat upon? Or as long as things are cool for you here in the now, that's the path you need to take. But we can call ourselves believers. Oh yeah, believer. Are you really a believer? We're not trying to get down in the mud, men. We want life. How many of you are dead men right now that need to rise up and come alive? The Lord is a vehicle that will help you to get there. Cast your gaze upon him. Nothing else. I don't give a about your job. And in this respect, your wife, your kids, grab a hold of his hemline. You've heard me mention it. The bottom of that garment. And ask for it. Ask so that you can have the courage to walk it out, because most of us do not. So what are you waiting for? Even Christ's earthly life was extremely finite. And yours is even more so. It's like a vapor, correct? So let's simply focus on the eternal instead of that dissipating mist that goes away, that is actually your life. If you're like me, many of my listeners now realize it goes in the blink of an eye. Let's focus on what is forever lasting. I mentioned it in other episodes. Your glory or your eternal damnation. How many of you are taking it seriously? In our last episode, it was called Seal Sniper. And we explained why Jesus hung on that tree, that cross. And now fast forward to today. unless you are truly willing to think upon these things, you are going to miss it. And if you are celebrating another holiday without its true significance, meaning today, what it symbolizes, you're already dead and you are already missing it. So I'm simply saying, as the host of a show for men, let's rise up. Push away the stones in our life that are keeping us from getting there. Now, I know it's hard. I mean, let's look at Matthew. Right here in Matthew chapter 21, verses 45 and 46. Check it out. The chief priests and Pharisees heard Jesus' parables. They knew he was talking about them. They looked for a way to arrest him, but they were afraid of the crowd. That was the run-up to his death. They were constantly seeking to entrap him. They were constantly seeking to triangulate him. They were constantly looking for ways to kill him. In fact, he avoided them many times because his time was not yet appointed. And yours is not either, or you wouldn't have the ability to listen today. We have work to do, men. Not just for yourself, but for the kingdom. But listen here. The reason they didn't arrest him at that time, the Pharisees and the Sadducees, was even they, the exalted leaders, were afraid of the crowd, afraid of another man's perception. Are you still so afraid of what women, meaning mankind, think about you that you cannot do the right thing? Or have you become so dumbed down to be accepted, and whatever that means for you, that you're willing to do the same as others? I mean, there was nothing more cultish, cliquish, good old boy than the Pharisees and the Sadducees. The crazy thing is in the Greek, Pharisees means separatists. They wanted to set themselves apart by their goodness. Look at me, I will give you a display. Whatever these displays mean to you, men. Is it clothes? Is it cars? Is it the girl hanging on your arm? Is it your house? That's not who you are. That's what you're trying to make people believe is what you are. You're not taking any of that shit with you. And I'm going to tell you right now, start stepping that shit down too. Roll that away from the tomb. And you'll start finding more inner peace. Don't attach to anything here. So even though these fools called themselves separatists, they were just another elite club, debased, trying to figure out, pass judgment on people that they were better because of this or that. And in that exercise, they missed it even more than the common laity or man. And that is precisely why Christ went after their ass. Oh yeah, anger, right? You have the right to be angry as men. Just do not sin with that anger. And you're like, well, dang, Eric, you threw some curse words in this thing. The disciples cursed. I'm working on that. If God rebukes me as such and I feel that conviction in my spirit, you'll hear me immediately stop. And I'm a guy who hardly ever cursed before. You don't think Peter, when he was denying Christ 3 times, as it already been foretold to him, didn't curse? On that final denial, he's like, F&A, man. No, I told you. I don't have anything to do with this man. I don't know this man. As he fled. Men, are you going to keep denying him as you make your escape back into the world and not roll away your own stone? We know that a man's enemies are ultimately going to be in his own house. Since we're talking about going to the cross and Christ's glorious resurrection for us, we're talking about the Gospels, right? We know it also says in Matthew, children will turn against their parents. Brothers will hand over their other sibling, and vice versa. This is that serious. What do you want to belong to? Now, I'm going to tell you this. Christ wants you to have community. We are communal beings. Men need other men. Do you need another dude to say, hey, and I'm going to tell you this. A lot of bullshit Bible studies are wimpish and wholly ineffectual. If you are not engaged in something that gives you power, and I'm talking power in your spirit from the inside out, it's a waste of your damn time. So if these guys are keeping you in church and in a defunct Bible study, but you don't feel any power in your life as you are supposedly getting closer to the Lord, nah, man, you're missing it. That's no better than another group of buddies you have that want you to go to the bar and drink with them instead of heading home. It's all the same. Build you a tribe. The Lord wants you to have community. Here is the caveat, and it'll be painstaking. Not everyone is right for you. You may feel isolated. You don't think Christ did? He cried out many times, even surrounded by his own hand-picked disciples. Are you willing to do this, men? There are men to help you in this effort. And here's your litmus test. Define your roles in life, your current roles. Build your friendships and allegiances with those who can help you perform in those capacities and seek the Lord in doing so. And even better, find the men whose by their relationship with you, you grow closer to God. And then together, rolling that stone or stones out of your life that is precluding you from achieving eternal glory. And well done, good and faithful servant, will not only be more meaningful, it will make your yoke and the yoke that Christ died for and came back that much easier, and you will be on your path to freedom. So until next time on the Comfortable in Chaos podcast, I bid you bon voyage, my burgeoning flock. Happy Easter.
Until next time, like and subscribe to the Comfortable in Chaos podcast.